The brass cartridges roll against your palms while Miller crouches beside the anti-aircraft gun, grease on both hands and a tobacco tin balanced on one knee. Inside is the first photograph of his newborn daughter. His fingers are too dirty for the paper, so he tips the tin toward you instead, no words needed. Just the tilt of his hand, and a look that means, don't you dare get this wet. You seal the photograph inside. You do not know it yet, but before this morning ends, you will leave Miller at this gun. Then a Japanese aircraft roars overhead so low that its engine vibration shudders through the deck and into your chest. Sunlight flashes across its fixed landing gear, and you see the red circle beneath the wing. A bomb drops from beneath the low, fixed-gear Japanese aircraft. It strikes the harbor beyond Battleship Row, and the water climbs into a white wall. The alarm begins. Miller pushes the tin into your shirt pocket, grips your shoulder, and points toward the ammunition route. You run. He has trusted you with his daughter. Now he needs ammunition. You shoulder the first belt and follow the route Miller taught you in the dark. The first belt jams at the turn. You wrench it sideways while men crowd past toward stations that may already be under attack. A hatch slams against its stop. Half-dressed sailors collide at the turn. Someone arrives wearing trousers and an undershirt. Another with a helmet but no shoes. Another still fastening a life jacket while he runs. Training gives every body a direction. Surprise makes those directions collide. You free the belt and shove it toward Miller's position. His gun crew tears open ready ammunition. The weapon climbs toward the aircraft circling back over Ford Island. Miller's greasy hands become exact. A moment ago, they could not be trusted with a photograph. Now they find lever, sight, and feed without looking. The first shots leave Nevada while much of the ship is still waking. You duck beneath the gun's movement, drag another ammunition box into reach, and feel the deck kick from somewhere below the waterline. The force lifts through your knees rather than striking your ears. Men grab steel. A seam of dirty water bursts upward beside the ship. The torpedo has found the port bow. You cannot see the hole. You see what the hole does. Nevada leans. Loose gear slides. Water begins entering spaces where water has no right to be. Damage control voices race downward. Word comes back in fragments, flooding forward. Port list, counter-flooding. Get the damage control parties forward now. Miller catches the next belt badly. You slap his wrist away before his glove folds into the feed. He gives you the look reserved for theft and bad seamanship. It dares you to hand the photograph to somebody who actually knows how to receive ammunition. You tell him he can have it back the day he earns it. His grin lasts less than a second. An aircraft dives. The gun tracks. The belt begins to jump through your hands, each cartridge pulled away faster than you can think. Empty links spill hot around your boots. You keep your head below the moving breech and your eyes on Miller. When he signals, you push. When he stops, you stop. The whole attack narrows to Miller's hand signals and the ammunition passing through yours. You know his signals before he completes them. 6 months of drills have taught you the angle of his wrist when the feed is twisting, the sharp dip of his chin when the loader is falling behind. During your first week aboard, he made you repeat the ammunition route until you could cross it in darkness. Later, he left a wrench in the wrong tray and blamed it on Nevada's roll, although the ship was tied to the pier the whole time. You have kept that fact alive ever since. Miller answers every kindness with an insult. When fever put you in a bunk for 2 days, he sat nearby repairing gear that did not need repair and complained that your breathing was keeping him awake. When the photograph arrived that morning, he studied it for 10 silent minutes before finally asking, in a voice with none of its usual edge, if the baby looked afraid. You told him she had his ears. He said she had better judgment. Now the tobacco tin strikes your ribs whenever you lift another box. The daughter he has never held moves with you while her father turns his gun through smoke. The attack has not created the trust between you. It has stripped away all the ordinary places where either of you could hide it. Miller points. You drive the next belt forward. He catches it cleanly this time. The harbor expands again when Arizona disappears inside light. There is no clean edge to it. One moment a battleship stands beyond you. The next, a column of fire rises through blackening air, carrying pieces too large to understand. Heat reaches Nevada across the water. A pressure rolls over the deck and flattens men against shields. The sky fills with burning fragments and oil-dark smoke. You have seen boilers opened for maintenance. You have seen furnace doors. This is neither. This is the shape of a ship being removed while men are still aboard it. Miller drags you behind the mount as debris strikes the deck. Something tears through the canvas where your head had been. He does not ask if you are hurt. He hits your helmet twice, hard, and points back toward the feed. You hit his shoulder once in answer. Then both of you work. Men are already in the water between the ships, swimming through oil or clinging to timber. You throw a life ring. Its line catches beneath the fitting, and smoke swallows the hand reaching for it. Miller shouts for ammunition. You hate him for the 2 steps it takes to turn back, then understand that his gun is firing at the aircraft, making more hands vanish. The next box is heavier. Hoses narrow the route. Nevada's list eases as unseen crews counterflood, giving your boots something closer to level steel. Above, the senior anti-aircraft officer keeps the batteries fighting even after wounds tear through his position. You do not know Ensign Joe Tausig's full story while it happens. You hear only that the control station is hit, that he is hurt badly, that fire continues under his direction. The rumor moves faster than any messenger. The guns are still commanded, so the guns keep speaking. Another order reaches your station through 3 mouths and 2 contradictory gestures. Captain Scanland is ashore. Lieutenant Commander Thomas is taking the ship. Steam is needed. Lines must be made ready. No one near you sees Thomas. His name travels instead, attached to verbs. Raise steam. Prepare to cast off. Get Nevada moving. You look toward the harbor mouth through smoke and aircraft. Every battleship around you is struck, trapped, burning, listing, or settling. Nevada has a torpedo wound and a deck filling with casualties. The order still comes. Soon the most dangerous place Nevada can reach will be the place every hand is trying to take her. A bomb enters the ship with almost no warning. The deck bucks. Air becomes grit. A locker door crosses the passage and shears a pipe from the bulkhead. You hit the steel hard enough to lose the shape of the next few seconds. When hearing returns, it returns unevenly. One ear carries shouting, the other carries a flat internal whine. Your hand goes first to your shirt pocket. The tin is there. Miller is on one knee beside the gun. Blood darkens his trouser leg just below the thigh. A fragment has opened the flesh without breaking the bone, or so he claims after one glance. He knots cloth above the wound and tries to stand. The leg folds. His face changes, not with fear, but with the insult of a mechanism refusing an order. You tell him to get below. He tells you to feed the gun. A corpsman moves toward him, sees 2 worse casualties, and turns. Miller sees you see it. He pulls himself against the mount, plants the wounded leg where it can brace instead of carry, and reaches for the next belt. You hold it away. You have seen him refuse to abandon a station before, the night he stayed beside a sick sailor while complaining until dawn. Miller makes care sound like accusation, and pain look like a maintenance problem. He points toward the sky. You give him the belt. The ammunition route becomes choices. Fire seals one passage. A ruptured line floods another. You step around wounded hands, overhose beneath hanging cable, and learn which bulkhead is too hot by losing skin from 2 fingertips. Each trip returns you to Miller. His face grows pale. His hands remain sure. He no longer wastes breath teasing. When an aircraft crosses low, he leads it through smoke and the crew follows his correction. When a young loader freezes at the sight of Arizona, Miller kicks the man's boot with his good foot and points to the feed. The loader drags the next belt into place. The rule passes from hand to hand. The chain breaks under impact and reforms around the wounded. Bodies simply occupy the next necessary place. Then the ship's communications begin to fail. A telephone line dies. A voice tube brings smoke instead of a voice. A messenger goes forward and does not return by the route he took. Orders must cross a ship whose interior is changing faster than any diagram can show. A petty officer catches you between runs. The forward line crew cannot hear the bridge. Steam is coming up, and Thomas wants the moorings singled up so Nevada can cast off. The order has to reach them before smoke closes the remaining route. You point at Miller. The petty officer points at the dead phone. There is no argument left to have. Miller takes the ammunition belt from you himself. His fingers close over yours for one moment, not tender. He's testing it. The way he tests a knot before he trusts it, whether you will actually let go. You do. You tell him the photograph stays with you until you come back. He gives you a look. It's the one he'd give someone who still can't feed a belt properly, the one that says, "Of course, this is your call." No one answers. The gun opens fire again, ending the moment. You start down the broken route with the cast-off order folded inside your fist. Behind you, Miller shouts one thing after you. It isn't goodbye. It's the same order he gave you an hour ago. Keep it dry, like the tin is the only part of this morning still under his command. You do not turn. The message has a destination, and Nevada cannot move until it arrives. Steam is rising. Engineers and firemen below force life into machinery while flooding presses against compartments near the torpedo wound. The ship has settled by the bow, yet counter-flooding has corrected the list enough to work. The direct passage forward is sealed by flame. You turn down one deck, find water climbing over your shoes, and meet two sailors dragging a burned man against the current. The paper in your fist begins to soften. You wedge it beneath your life jacket, take the man beneath one arm, and help lift him to the next ladder. A stretcher party pulls him away without stopping. The interior route ends beneath hanging cable and smoke too thick to enter. You climb to the exposed deck. Aircraft cross above the mast. A near miss throws harbor water across the steel and knocks you against the rail, but the order stays trapped against your chest. From there, you hear Miller's gun behind you. Its cadence is uneven now. A short burst, a pause too long, then another burst. The ladder back toward Miller's gun is still open. 10 running steps would put you on it. For a moment, your body turns before your mind does. Forward, the line crew keeps working without the order. The hawsers still hold Nevada beside burning ships while steam builds below. If you go back to Miller, the bridge stays mute to the men who have to release 19,000 tons of steel. The gun fires again. You use the sound as permission it cannot actually give, and you run forward instead of back. This is the moment leaving Miller stops feeling like an errand and becomes a choice. You reach the forward line crew. The petty officer reads the wet paper, looks toward the smoke-hidden bridge, and repeats the command aloud. Single up. Stand by to cast off. Men move before he finishes. One line comes in. Another has gone rigid with strain. A sailor chops at fouled material while you seize wet rope and pull. Its fibers cut the burns already open across your palm. The hawser drops into the harbor. Your first message has changed the ship. The route back to Miller is now carrying you away from him. Nevada does not leap forward. 19,000 tons do not perform miracles for an audience. The ship trembles, gathers pressure, and begins to answer. Through gaps in smoke, men on other ships turn and lift their arms. Nevada is the only battleship getting underway, and for one instant that fact feels like rescue made visible. You run back toward the stern with another message, and the tin strikes your chest in rhythm with your steps. Miller's gun resumes firing somewhere above and behind you. You know its cadence because you have fed it long enough to hear the crew inside the intervals. You cannot see him. You use the sound as proof. A wounded man blocks the ladder, one arm locked around a rung. You climb beneath him and lift while another sailor pulls. A stretcher party takes him without asking his name. Nevada edges away from Battleship Row. Arizona burns behind. West Virginia lies hammered beside the island. Oklahoma has rolled. Men move on her upturned hull while others gather to cut into the steel. California is wounded farther down. The harbor opens ahead, but movement exposes Nevada. Aircraft that had been dividing their attention now have a single unmistakable target, a battleship underway, trailing smoke, reaching for open water. Ahead lies the channel, the harbor's deep water throat. Beyond it, the sea. Between them, barely enough room for a healthy ship under calm command. Nevada has neither. You still don't know whose orders are actually moving this ship. You'll find out soon. Right around the moment, the only battleship still moving has to be stopped. The second wave finds Nevada in motion, and it comes for her alone. A near miss sends water across the bow. The next impact opens steel and throws men flat. A gun position vanishes behind flame. A passage you crossed moments earlier folds under wreckage. A man carrying a message becomes the message when you find him down and take the paper from his hand. Later records will count 1 aerial torpedo and at least 6 bomb hits. In the moment, you know only that Nevada survives each strike long enough to receive the next. You watch one bomb fall too long before someone tackles you behind a splinter shield. The impact comes through steel, bone, and teeth. Your rescuer crawls toward a wounded loader and you follow because standing invites the next aircraft. Miller's gun cannot be heard now. You press the tin through your shirt and tell yourself silence proves nothing. You let him with ammunition and a crew so you could carry orders that might keep the ship alive. The explanation works until you remember his hand testing whether you would let go. Smoke reveals the navigation marked too close. The bow is down, steering uncertain, every hit adding another unknown. Rumor says Japanese pilots are trying to sink Nevada in the channel and trap the fleet behind her. You cannot know their intent, and it stops mattering. A crippled battleship in deep water can seal the harbor whether anyone planned it that way or not. The mission reverses. Get her moving becomes keep her clear. Orders come to turn to avoid the channel to take Nevada towards shallower water near YPO Point. The message reaches you with blood on one corner and no certainty that every station has heard it. You repeat it into a voice tube and get nothing back. You run it instead. The ship turns beneath you. Damaged machinery and altered trim fight the turn as Nevada's bow swings from the deep channel, revealing burning Battleship Row broadside behind you. Ships settle at their moorings. Small boats carry blackened men beneath aircraft and columns of smoke. Guns still fire from ships that look unable to contain life. You pull a wounded signalman behind cover, help a maimed loader lift the box, and pass the turning order farther down the line. Then another bomb strikes forward and Nevada seems to hesitate, fire rolling along damaged structure, a hose losing pressure until its stream finally reaches flame and steam erases the bow. Somewhere inside that white blindness, the only battleship still moving is being aimed at land. You finally see Thomas near the place where orders become irreversible. Lieutenant Commander Francis Thomas does not look like the rumor that has been crossing the ship all morning. He is a man on a damaged bridge surrounded by late reports carried by bloody sailors. His authority is visible because everyone turns toward him before acting. The captain remains ashore, unable to reach Nevada in time to command the escape from the Row. Thomas carries it instead. Not as legend, as responsibility. The order is to ground the ship. Thomas watches the harbor and chooses where Nevada must stop. The sortie that made men cheer ends here, with land under the keel. The channel kept open, the ship kept from sinking in deep water. Every hand aboard has spent the last hour learning how to keep this ship moving. Now the hardest order all morning is the one that stops her. Nevada touches bottom. The first contact is a drag beneath the bow. The hull settles, steel complains, and men brace as the ship stops advancing. Hoga and Avoset press, pull, and position the wounded hull, their crews bringing fragile craft close enough to take Nevada's heat. You handle a line again. Your palms are open, but you seize rope and lean until the tug changes Nevada's angle. The work resembles docking only in the way a tourniquet resembles a knot. Aircraft still pass and guns track. Damage control parties isolate compartments and flood others by choice to resist the water forced inside. A burned sailor asks if the ship made the sea. You tell him the channel remains open. He nods as if that is the same thing. Rescue boats bring oil-blackened men from the water. A sailor from another battleship sits against Nevada's hull, asking where his ship is, while the answer burns behind him. You search each face for Miller without admitting that you are searching. The gun position lies toward the stern through routes you no longer understand. Duty keeps offering one more necessary handhold before you can leave. Secure this line, carry that man, pass this report, help lift this hose. Each task can save someone. Each task also spends another minute. Your pocket taps your chest. The photograph is dry. You receive no new message. For the first time since the alarm, nobody is sending you away from Miller. You turn back toward Miller. The route back begins with a ladder that no longer reaches its deck. You climb until bent metal blocks the opening. You descend, cross a compartment ankle deep in water, and find another way up through air hot enough to tighten your throat. Nevada is stationary now, but the interior still moves. Running water, settling wreckage, men passing casualties, fire drawing breath through broken spaces. You retrace the morning by damage. The locker door that crossed the passage is still wedged where it landed. A pipe sprays a weaker stream now than it did an hour ago. This bulkhead is the one that took the skin from your fingers. And here, this corner, is where Miller's hand closed over yours and asked whether you would let go. The gun is silent. You reach the anti-aircraft position carrying the tobacco tin in your fist. Miller is gone. The crew is gone too. The mount is scarred. Empty links lie mixed with glass, blood, wet cloth, and gray flakes of paint. One ammunition box remains open. A dark handprint marks its side. The cloth Miller tied around his thigh lies near the shield, cut through rather than untied. You have carried the photograph beyond every belt of ammunition and returned it to the place where its owner should be. The tin that began as protection from grease has become evidence of an obligation nobody can explain how to finish. You search. A loader from another position remembers a wounded man being moved, but not which way. A corpsman remembers 2 casualties near the mount, then doubts there were only 2. A sailor says someone fell when the last bomb struck. Another says all living men were cleared before the fire spread. A rescue boat took wounded from the water. A stretcher party went forward. A name may be on a list that does not exist yet. Each answer opens another route. You follow blood until water erases it. You check an aid station and find bodies arranged by urgency rather than friendship. You look beneath blankets at boots, hands, hair, any fragment that might become Miller. You ask men whose hearing is gone. You ask men carrying worse questions. You look over the side at oil moving against the hull. No answer becomes him. Less than a morning has taken your simple belief that every man occupies one knowable place. Miller may be below, ashore, aboard a rescue craft, beneath a sheet, inside the water, or walking wounded under someone else's coat. Loss arrives before certainty. You open the tin. The photograph is dry. The newborn's fist remains beside her cheek. Miller's wife still holds the expression she wore before the camera released her. Nothing inside the small rectangle knows that Arizona burns, that Nevada rests in mud, that a father has disappeared somewhere between a gun and an aid station. You close the lid. You do not leave the photograph at the empty mount. That would make the gun a grave, and you do not know that Miller is dead. You do not hand it to a clerk. That would make uncertainty into paperwork. You put it back in your pocket because his last clear instruction still belongs to you. Keep it dry. Keep it moving. Near sunset, the harbor glows beneath smoke. Rescue work continues in boats, on hulls, along quays, inside compartments where tapping may mean trapped men or shifting steel. You join because waiting alone creates nothing. You haul, carry, search, listen. Every time a figure emerges through smoke, you look for Miller's uneven stride. Every time, the figure becomes someone else. Night does not end the attack. It only removes the aircraft from view. Fires and searchlights illuminate ships still dying slowly. Nevada rests aground, wounded but upright, with bomb holes open to the stars. You work until your body starts completing motions without permission. Lift, carry, brace, drink when water appears, duck when nerves invent an engine overhead. Touch the pocket after every impact that is no longer happening. Rumors replace orders. The fleet is gone, carriers are coming, invasion follows. America is at war. You possess only the harbor and one absent man. By the next day, the first truth has already hardened. Pearl Harbor will not stay sealed inside a single Sunday. Nevada will not remain in the mud. Crews will salvage her, repair her, and send her back to the war, into the Aleutians, off Normandy, into southern France, then Iwo Jima and Okinawa. The channel stays usable. A battleship pulled from catastrophe becomes proof the attack did not finish what it struck. The other truth fits inside a tobacco tin. A newborn daughter looks toward a father who does not appear at the gun when you go back. No later campaign answers where he went in those missing minutes. No repaired hull returns the moment his hand closed over yours and you let go. You left because the phones failed, because the ship needed a runner, because Nevada had to move, because hundreds of lives and the harbor route demanded the next order reach the next station. All of that is true, you still left him there. Survival makes you carry both truths at once. Years from now, records will show how Nevada moved, where she grounded, how she fought again. A clean outline you could not see while you were running through flame. But what you'll actually remember is smaller than any of it. Miller correcting a frozen loader with one good foot while his wounded leg failed beneath him. The photograph has to reach home. You cannot give his daughter certainty, only the dry image he protected and the honest limit of what you know. History keeps the battleship moving, from Pearl Harbor to Normandy and beyond. You carry Miller by refusing to replace him with a cleaner ending.